Hi, everybody. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. You're watching Candid Frank Live. Welcome to Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 249, 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download the app, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google, Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now on Candid Frank Live, joining me as usual, Aaron William Freeland. Aaron, how you doing, bud?
Doing all right, Frank. How are you?
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm feeling a little chilled. I'm feeling a little bit of the winter blahs.
I know that feeling.
Now,
Happening more frequently than I'd like it to, but
that's a little too much indoors. I take the hat off, except now I know what's going to happen. I've had it on for a few minutes. I'm going to have a hair that goes everywhere. It's going to look like a forest. Um. Okay. So let's talk about the Canadian Football League first, and I have to adjust my glasses because I can't believe what I'm looking at here. It says here the Al sent Cody Fajardo to the Elks for McLeod Bethel Thompson. Uh so they're trading backups? Oh, wait a second.
that's certainly what it feels like at this point. I mean, with Edmonton having signed Trey Ford and Montreal with their pivot, it does look like they are basically trading the backups at this point. Um, I mean, MBT and Cody both have Grey Cups in recent memory, specifically the 109th and 110th Grey Cups, where MBT led the Argos over the Bombers, while Fajardo took down the Bombers with the Alouettes. This is just interesting because MBT signed with the Elks in 2024, sharing starting duties with recently extended national pivot Trey Ford, which we covered on the show. Um, and on the flip side of this, Fajardo appeared in 14 regular season games with the Owls in 2024. Um, I mean, he was dealing with injuries throughout the course of the season, with the Owls turning to Davis Alexander. But it's one of those situations where I can't really see how this benefits them or their teams. I'm not sure if you've got a take on that.
It benefits them. We just don't know whether that benefit will happen or not. And by that I mean um Arbuckle. Arbuckle was third in line with the Toronto Argonauts. Ended up being the MVP and the quarterback that played wire to wire in the Grey Cup. Yeah, that's the benefit. The benefit is you've got two guys that it doesn't matter whether it's McLeod or whether it's Cody on either team. If the first guy they have there planned to be their number one guy isn't there, they're not a bad backup plan. We've learned that with Arbuckle. Arbuckle, I don't think Arbuckle goes into the Argonauts season this year with any better expectation than McLeod Bethel Thompson and Cody Fajardo can have. That's my take. That they're good. They're good options in the event something untoward happens to the team and an injury takes out their proposed starting quarterback.
No, I guess that's fair. I mean, at this point, really, you're essentially trading for security.
Yeah, and you're trading two guys that they one I don't think made the decision. Edmonton more or less I think they traded McLeod in anticipation of McLeod's displeasure with the move. And the change of scenery is good for the players. More importantly though, the signing bonus is more important to Cody Fajardo. So, and essentially this is always the Canadian Football League. Every decision is based on money. Whether it's fully based on money or not is the only question. To what level is it based on money? So, hey, look, two players that have been to the Grey Cup, two players that have been there for what it's like to be in the locker room when you win a Grey Cup. They know what it's like to win. Both teams can benefit from that, and both teams, I would think, uh, I suppose Edmonton doesn't offer the same opportunity the Alouettes do. The Alouettes have won recently. The Edmonton Elks haven't exactly won lately. Winning has been their wannabe move, right? They want to win. So Fajardo knows how to get them there.
Well, I think you actually may be right in that. Upon thoughtful second thoughts, it does appear that maybe this could potentially be a benefit to both teams. Also, I think that going to going to Edmonton for Fajardo, he's a more of a similar quarterback to Troy Ford. So there's a lot there's a lot that they can learn from each other.
Yes, 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 exactly. Hey, look, players in the Canadian Football League, especially the guys under center, I think they have wheels under them anytime the season ends because you never know where they're going to roll. All right, let's go to the Owls. And they had a linebacker retire.
Yeah, Frederic Chagnon decided that he was going to retire. Um, he played 9 games with the Owls in 2024, recorded 5 special teams tackles. He spent 3 years with the team and won the Grey Cup with them in 2023. He played 108 games in the CFL, starting his career with the BC Lions back in 2017, where he played for 3 seasons. He then spent a season in Ottawa before joining the Owls in 2022. He recorded 27 tackles, 51 special team tackles, and 1 sack. Congratulations to him on a career and getting himself a great cup in the process. I wish him all the best in wherever he lands.
Okay, the Red Blacks extend defensive lineman Bryce Carter.
So this was a good move for them. Um, they extended um, they extended Bryce Carter. Uh, they've locked him up through 2026. He's an American pass rusher. He was scheduled to become a free agent in February, so thank goodness he's managed to avoid some of that insanity. Though limited to 11 games this season by injury, Carter still managed to put up 21 tackles and 4 sacks. He's from Steelton, Pennsylvania, had a breakout season in 2023, had 31 tackles, 12 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. So, congratulations to him. Hopefully, this works out to the good for the Red Blacks.
It definitely will. The Red Blacks also keying on an important factor in having a good team. That is your Canadian content. They brought in 4 Canucks.
Yeah, they brought in defensive lineman Deontay Knight, offensive lineman Cooper Hamilton, and receivers Jeremy Murphy and Darius Simmons. Knight played 2 games for the Argonauts this past season before being signed off of their practice roster by the Hamilton Tiger Cats back on July 3rd. Went on to make 12 tackles and 14 appearances. Uh, Cooper Hamilton spent time with the Red Blacks during the 2024 training camp. He returned to the Laurier Golden Hawks for the 2024 season, helping them capture both the Yates Cup and the UTEC Bowl en route to a Vanier Cup appearance. Um, they're shoring themselves up with valuable Canadian players who have had success at the collegiate level. So that's a good thing.
Let me inject a story here, still to do with the Ticats in Hamilton. The naming rights are open now. The 10-year agreement that Tim Hortons had with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, naming the stadium Tim Hortons Field. I saw a post somewhere asking what should you name the team, and I was thinking Stelco Stadium, and then I thought even better, what even sounds better. I like the way it sounds, Stelco Steel Stadium.
That's actually not a bad idea. I'm just wondering how much Stelco would pay for that.
Well, it would have to be the same amount that Tim Hortons paid, at least, whatever that was. Whatever that was. 10 years is a commitment. It probably approaches in the million. I don't know about millions. It's basically a great thing, the Tim Hortons Field thing. Everybody, you know, associates the Ticats with Tim Hortons. And it's not accidental either because they basically started in Hamilton. And Tim Hortons is where they started. So Hamilton, Burlington, that area. Anyway, so let's talk about Brent Monson, defensive coordinator. That name sounds familiar. I don't know where I heard it. Oh yeah, he was supposed to be getting hired by the Argos.
That was the rumor that was going around. Yes. Now he's joining the Ticats after spending the previous 15 years with the Calgary Stampeders, including the last 6 seasons as their defensive coordinator. They're calling him a young and innovative coach who has earned his way up through the coaching ranks and has had success at each step. They're proud to bring him on to Hamilton, and I'm confident that he'll get the most out of our players on defense. He began his professional coaching career as a video assistant with the Stamps in 2009 before earning a promotion to strength and conditioning coach as well as defensive quality control coach in 2010. While Monson was with the Stamps, he did manage to capture 2 Grey Cups in 2014 and 2018, um, while several Stampeders earned All-Star status under his direction. So he's bringing a wealth of knowledge and know-how to Hamilton, which can only serve them in good stead.
He served from the ground up, so good for him. And too bad for the Argos, because they also lost one of their 2 defensive coordinators to the Ottawa Redblacks. So the Riders signed Nationals Noah Zaire, offensive lineman.
Yep, he's returning to the Roughies following an incredible 2024 season. As a member of the offensive line, Zaire helped the Rough Riders generate 5,019 passing yards and 1,613 rushing yards. The O line allowed just 35 sacks, which is 6 shy of the league's best total. He's originally from Langenburg, Saskatchewan. He was selected by the Lions in the second round of the 2022 CFL draft and appeared in 4 games during his rookie season. He spent 2023 with the Ticats, for whom he played 3 games, and then he signed with Saskatchewan in December 23 and made 11 appearances with his home province team during the 2024 season.
And now with Edmonton, Javon Leake. And I didn't see a mention here, but go ahead. Tell us about Javon Leake.
Well, from what I remember, he is one of the fastest dudes in the CFL. So that's a good thing. He signed a 2-year contract extension. He was scheduled to become a free agent in February and was the 15th ranked player on CFL-CAA's top 30 pending free agents list. He was the 2023 CFL's most outstanding special teams player. He found himself in an expanded role in the Elks offense, setting career highs in carries with 102, rushing yards with 661, rushing touchdowns with 6, receptions with 34, receiving yards with 301, and receiving touchdowns with 1. He had a fantastic finish to the season with another great performance against the Argonauts. He recorded 128 yards rushing on 8 carries, including an 88-yard run, and also added 80 yards on 2 receptions with a 67-yard touchdown in there. As a member of the Argonauts in 2023, which is obviously why he's familiar, he recorded 2,009 return yards and ran 4 punts for touchdowns en route to being named the league's most outstanding special teams player.
Absolutely. So that makes things very. And I saw an Argo sign with Edmonton. I thought, but until I actually see it, that might have been something somebody was hoping. But anyway, Elks signed Javon Leake, so another opportunity for him. And I guess, as far as Argo fans are concerned, they know how good he is, and obviously it's a great opportunity for him to continue his career. And I think a positive move on his part to be in Edmonton. I really think Edmonton is a team that can advance. All they got to hope for, really, is that their number 1 quarterback does what he's capable of doing. We know what he's capable of doing. We just haven't seen him do it yet, but we'll see. I like their chances, and that trade rings in my ears a little bit. It's a very interesting trade. It's not surprising. We've seen it time and time again. We saw our Buckle go from Toronto and then get traded for a quarterback. Same thing. So it's not an unusual move. Let's go over to hockey, and we'll talk about the Leafs, but we'll start with the Habs and Patrick Laine. My goodness. I mean, they're going to, him and Ovechkin, where they're going to shoot the puck from on the power play. So why is it people can't stop him? You know what he's going to do. It's amazing that to have that talent that way, to release the puck that quickly. You almost think they should just have a guy standing beside him and Ovechkin. You know what I mean?
I've thought about why people don't see him, and the only conclusion I can think of is that they just stand so still. People forget that they're there. I mean, where the clap bomb spot is. Where they're going to try to feed it to. So,
Absolutely.
it's his first hat trick with Montreal. and the Habs managed to extend Buffalo's winless streak to 11 games.
Oh my goodness, that
Yeah,
those poor fans, I'm telling you. You know, and people talk about, the reason Buffalo doesn't do well is because they're a small market team. Nobody wants to go and play there. Well, how do you explain the Buffalo Bills? They play in the same city, right?
they do.
Right? So
Yeah, I know.
that's
I'm at a
that's
loss as to figure out how that
that's not
works.
the reason. That's not the reason for a second. Let's talk about the Sens and let's talk about the reason why they'll make the playoffs. Allmark.
Seriously, I mean, he made 30 saves, and they won their fourth straight game with a 3-0 shutout of the Kraken on Tuesday night. Printo scored first at 8:02 in the second period. Noah Gregor scored a few minutes later. Tim Stützle made it a 3-goal game at 4:18 in the third when he stuck one past Joey Decord. Decord finished the night with 24 saves. This is the fifth time this season so far that the Kraken have been shut out.
Absolutely. And they're not the Vegas Golden Knights expansion version for sure. They're more human. Let's talk about the Jets and let's talk about Lowry. He's a guy who has always been a productive player in Winnipeg, sometimes overlooked because of a couple of other players.
Yeah, he actually scored with just over a minute left in regulation time. That was enough to break the tie and make it 4-3, and the Jets managed to hold on for the win. Kyle Connor had 2 goals. Gabriel Velarde had 3 assists, and Mark Scheifele with a goal and 2 assists, all kicked in for the NHL's first place team. Tyler Toffoli had a goal and an assist for San Jose, and Fabian Zetterlund and Macklin Celebrini each added a goal. Hellebuck had 32 saves. Georgiev turned back 29 shots for San Jose. He seems to be doing better there than he was in Colorado. I'm glad to see that he's having a little bit of a renaissance, but he got a bit of a reputation with the as Alexander Forgiev because he always seemed to be losing by a lot.
Yeah. Let's go to the Flames, and the Bruins beat the Flames in overtime. Pasternak getting the winning goal in overtime.
Yep, Pasta scored 4:22 into overtime. Elias Lindholm also had a goal and an assist. They came from behind to beat the Flames 4-3. Morgan Geekie and Mark McLaughlin also scored for the Bruins, have won 6 of their last 8 games. They seem to be having issues earlier in the season. I'm not sure if they've managed to completely right the ship, but things don't look nearly as bleak for the Bruins now as they did before. Now,
Absolutely.
they're still they're in third right now, so that's something at least.
Yeah, well,
Um,
they're 3 of 5 teams that are pretty tough in that Atlantic division.
yeah, and the other thing is the Atlantic Division really isn't particularly good at this point either. So that's the other thing we have to be concerned with as well.
Yeah, it's funny, they looked like they would be an overpowering division, in this conference, and it hasn't played out that way. And now with Ottawa playing as well as they're playing, you have 5 teams that are I really, Aaron, the way Ottawa's playing, I don't see it impossible for them to flip the order in the Atlantic.
No, I mean they're 6-7-1 in their sorry they're 6-7-1 in their road record. They're on a little bit of a road trip right now. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 with a 4-game win streak. I mean I don't see the downside here. They are certainly going to be have their work cut out for them catching the Lightning and catching the Bruins, but they're certainly not in a bad spot.
No, not at all. I really think with that kind of goaltending, which is basically what the Leafs have lived on as well. But before we get to the Leafs, let's go through the Oilers and talk about their loss to the Panthers, one of those teams in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, the Panthers had only had 1 goal in their previous 211 minutes worth of hockey. That's 3.5 games. So the fact that they exploded for 6 against the Oilers, I think, is sort of an indication that they're still aiming to give their best when they play the team that they played in the finals.
Absolutely. Let's talk now about excuse me. I just lost my screen. Oh my goodness. Yep, I did too. I lost it. Good. We'll talk now about the Canucks. Sherwood nets a hat trick. Canucks roll past the Avalanche 3-1.
Yeah, Kiefer scored his first NHL hat trick. He now has a career high 11 goals on the season, surpassing the 10 that he amassed while playing for the Nashville Predators last year. Valery Nichushkin replied for the Avs with 46 seconds left in the game. Mikko Rantanen registered an assist and stretched his point streak to 6 games, but at the end of the day, um, I think this was a good rebound for them after an ugly 5-1 loss to the Bruins on Saturday.
And let's talk about the Leafs, and we'll talk about Robertson being sent. No, wait, hang on a second. Not Robertson, Fraser Minton. Just kidding, because he's now he's playing the Robertson role now. That we've been
Yeah, now Minton was he's going up and down.
it's that
He,
role.
yeah, he was recalled on November 19th and recorded 2 goals and 1 assist in 11 games with the Leafs this season, while averaging 12 minutes and 47 seconds worth of ice time. That's respectable. He also had 4 points in 5 games with the Marlies this season. Yeah, he's played a grand total of just 20 professional games, but he's going to have an opportunity to play higher in the lineup and take on more offensive responsibility by moving back to the AHL. He seems to have earned the trust of head coach Craig Berube and could be back up with the Leafs at some point this season. Now, with David Kampf apparently close to being able to return, and Bobby McMahon recently coming off of injured reserve, this seems to play a factor in the fact that he's going to be the odd man out because he is waivers exempt. They don't have to worry about potentially losing him, so he can go up and down freely.
I'm not a fan of him going up and down. I think they should leave him there, and they should not touch him anywhere until towards the end of the season. And if they're going to give him a sniff, give it to him later. Let him. I really think one of the biggest problems with Robertson that they've had is that being the yo-yo kind of gets to you. It's not a good feeling, and I think emotionally it's not a good deal. And give him a chance to learn, have him be consistent. We saw, he didn't go back to the Marlies and do what Nylander did. Nylander gets 5 points in his first game back,
Yeah.
wanting to prove. But he has a lot of experience of going up and down and playing in the American Hockey League. I don't think Fraser Minton does, and he needs to really learn the process of being a professional hockey player. And also, the most important thing in my mind is playing consistently. If you're not playing in a place consistently, how can you play consistently? I think that's the primary thing for a kid his age.
Definitely, and more seasoning never hurt anybody.
Yeah,
Give him the opportunity to absolutely tear it up in the AHL and build his confidence and bring him up when the Leafs need the bodies most.
right. Let him get some consistency going. Let him figure out what it takes to go on a good stretch of playing hockey. The Leafs say the Stolars has to undergo a knee surgery, and now he was from day to day. Now he's 4 to 6 weeks. They found some little ball or something in the back of his knee, which has to be removed. And his replacement Hiddleby, all he needs to be is consistent. That's all. Because this Leaf team has proven that with consistent goaltending, they can be effective. And that's what he needs to be. And Stolars has to get healthy. This is a bad break for him because he was on his way to really having an effective season. Now he's going to end up not playing as many games as maybe he probably had hoped, but that's not the end of the world. He can come back 4 to 6 weeks. That puts us, we're in the middle of December, end of January. So he's back in February. That's not a bad amount of time to get ready for the playoffs, because full well he's going to play a game or two in the playoffs if and when he gets healthy and is back with the Leafs.
Yeah, it's looking to be 16 to 18 games. And again, just to repeat, Trill Living said an MRI found no structural damage, but there was a loose body, a small piece of broken off bone or cartilage that was floating around that needs to be cleared out. So, at this point here, we are one Wool injury away from looking at a Hildeby and Matt Murray tandem. Matt is finally back. He originally went down in a Marlies game on December 4th. Came in a replacement role on the 15th for Arturs Akhtimov, who got shelled for 5 goals on 15 shots. But the good news is he'll actually be starting tonight's Marlies game. So that will be interesting to keep track of and see if he can remain healthy, because we do need other viable options. I mean, Akhtimov doing great in the AHL, but not quite ready to come up yet.
Up until Hiddleby came up.
Yep.
He was fine. It's almost as though he felt more pressure because now he's alone. Well, not counting Murray because Murray's not he's working his way back. We're not
Yeah.
sure. I mean, Murray's the goaltender of maybe.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's one of those things where you're never 100% sure exactly what's going to happen with him. So
Well, we'd like to think as people who are judging our athletes that we see all the time to judge them on their ability to play. He hasn't played, so he can't even get past that. He's got to get that past that hurdle first. The hurdle of he can play back to back games, play for a while, and then people can judge him for how good a goaltender he is. Leaf fans can't do that because they're not even sure that he actually can play. So that's an extra layer of questions that need to be answered.
oh, for sure. But as it currently stands, Wall and Hildeby, we look to be sitting okay. We'll have to see how Wool does tonight. They are going to be playing at 7:30 puck drop, so we'll be keeping a
Who
close eye
who,
on that.
who will they be playing?
I honestly, off the top of my head, don't
Dallas
remember,
Stars.
Frank.
Dallas Stars.
Perfect. Oh, they're in Dallas, right? So,
They're here. They'll
oh, are they here? I
yeah,
thought
they're
they
in
were in Dallas.
I think it's in Toronto, but you know what? I could be wrong. I thought I saw the Leaf Toronto on the bottom and Dallas on the top, which usually indicates the visiting team is the one on top. The home team is the one on the bottom. But I could be wrong. It doesn't matter anyway. It does matter, but it doesn't matter for the purposes of mentioning who Toronto's playing tonight, and that is the Dallas Stars. They're a pretty tough team. They play tough against Toronto. They're a pretty tough team. This is the kind of team that Trey Living built to beat. So it's a good test.
That's true, and we may actually be lucky enough to see brother versus brother.
Again.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Robertson is going to be starting third line right wing. Hopefully, we'll be able to see him play his
there you go.
brother for a little bit.
All right, he's Aaron William Freeland. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live. Aaron, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Candid Frank Live, you can watch this every week. And of course, for shows like this, news, entertainment, and other sports programming we offer, please check out SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time. Do you want to go a little longer?
I mean,